everyone. Welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I am so glad that you guys tuned in today. I have, when I say a super duper special show lined up for you, it's going to be fantastic and history making, actually, because the young lady that's here in the studio with me today has already made history. She is a pioneer, a trailblazer. She's the owner of W.M. Stone Enterprises. She's also the founder and owner of Kutra Music Group, and this woman is the first African American woman to solely own her own NASCAR company. Guess what? I have in the studio with me Miss Melissa Harville-Lebron. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if we're allowed to do all of that in the studio, but see, it's so exciting, and I do have a studio audience here, and I mean, they stayed quiet. That's so funny. It's like, oh, they were being so professional. But we're so glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's my honor. I've been looking forward to this.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So
thank you.
I want people here on the Kim Jacobs Show, always, you know, it's not scripted. It's just us talking, just having some girl talk.
That's right.
And just going back over your life and what brought you to be this mighty woman, E2 Northeast Motorsports. I mean, you are a force literally to be reckoned with.
Thank
but
you.
So many little girls would want to say, if they were sitting right here, wow, how did she become who she is today?
Not wanting to be a victim of my circumstances growing up. That was my first motivation. And then just being a mom and really encouraging my children to live out their dreams.
Well, what were your circumstances growing up? Take us back.
I'm originally from Staten Island, New York. So everybody knows Staten Island, New York.
Oh, yeah.
Because of Wu-Tang.
Right. It's kind of like rough, though.
Right.
Don't play with no
not all of it.
Okay.
Some parts.
Well, see, when I say 757, I'm from Newport News, Virginia. You can't tell me I'm not saying that.
That's right. I know what you're talking
Bottom,
about.
that's my neighborhood and all of this. I think I'm 757. People are like, oh my gosh, what's she talking about? So to Staten Island?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Staten Island. I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. My parents divorced when I was very young. So there were a lot of challenges just, being in a single parent household. My grandmother was actually the entrepreneur in the family. She was biracial, raised in the South. She only had 6 days of education. And she never allowed anyone to ever say they can't. When my grandma was always, she was a trailblazer. At the time of her death, she owned 17 multi-dwelling properties. So multi-family dwelling properties. So
what's your grandma's name?
Willie Mae Stone.
Oh, Willie Mae Stone.
So that's where W.M.
Stone.
Right.
Get out of here. I'm learning stuff on my own show. This is awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do background and I understand, but I did not realize totally W.M. Stone Enterprises is in honor of Miss Willie Mae Stone.
Oh, you're going to make me cry. Yes.
Aww. What made you name that in honor of
my grandmother? Was everything. I saw her get up and go to work, even though she had amazing properties, but she still worked every day like she didn't have but 5 cents in her pocket. And she opened her door to anyone that needed help. It didn't matter their circumstances. I mean, I grew up knowing, the whole bowl that she would have him come in and clean him up and give him something to eat and give him some clothes, and he'd go back out and we wouldn't see him for another month, and pass the bottle, wander back in, and she'd do the same thing all over again. And she always had a warm plate of food for somebody and some place to sleep. It didn't matter if it was 2 o'clock in the morning. You knew that if you were in trouble, you could go to Miss Stone.
And she was, the word can't, you said,
no. She
said, do not say can't, which to me, the word can't means will not try.
Right.
That's simply what it means to me. So I encourage my children and followers and everyone, don't ever use that word. And don't use the word try either, because either you try and sit down.
That's a failure.
You're going to try. Either you're going to stand up or you're going to sit down. You're not going to try and do anything. You're going to do it or you're not.
That's right.
So your grandma specifically said what about can't?
You were not allowed to, because she had every single obstacle that you could ever imagine, being biracial from Alabama and coming into New York, and in those, back in those days, and then being an African American woman trying to purchase property.
17 properties back then.
That's right. So, yeah,
That's
she didn't believe in that word, or she'd get the heck knocked out of you.
Well, good for her because she
Right.
actually helped produce a wonderful
Thank you.
giant
Thank
now that's going to leave a legacy for all future women to come.
Thank
So
you.
I'm excited about that. What other parts of your childhood that kind of made you, were you ever a woman that sat back and said, I want to be this NASCAR person?
Oh, no.
I mean, tell
No,
us,
not at
what were
all.
you thinking
So-
when you were a child? Like,
Oh,
what were you
please.
dreaming
I used
of?
to remember getting on a Staten Island ferry and thinking that that skyline was so amazing that
Yes.
all I wanted to do was have a job that paid me $50,000 a year because I was doing something.
that was a big
back
deal,
then.
right? It's like, right, okay.
Right, you know, you living your best life, really.
That's right. That's right.
And no, my original background comes from music.
And I
original
researched that. That's
yeah,
amazing.
my original background comes from music. I was in the music industry from a very young age doing music videos. Not the videos they do now.
Not the hoochie mama. Like,
we had our clothes on.
You had your clothes on. Okay. I was like,
Right.
how far did you go for real?
I ended up I did one music video where I was in front of the camera, and I didn't like that. I liked what was going on behind the cameras. And I became a production assistant for Dwayne Hayward Productions. We did Roxanne Shante, Big Bub, oh God, Loose Ends. There's so many names.
Yeah, you've done a lot.
I really have. When I sit back and read it, I'm like, wow,
I was reading
a lot.
things that you are well lived and well versed and well
has
rounded.
blessed
You've
me.
done a whole
definitely
lot in your
blessed
life.
me.
And so
Yeah.
why not stay in the whole music industry? You've made it kind of big there, and you
Yeah.
could have made your mark there. Why
Well,
not stay there?
I worked in the industry for quite some time. I started as an intern. My official internship was at Sony Music, and I went over to work at Epic, and one of my biggest projects was Sade's Love Deluxe album.
Oh,
So now I'm telling my age.
okay, yeah, I was like, you're going way back.
Right? Now I'm telling my age.
You're going to make me talk about Planet Rock and taking my skates off and going in the middle of the skating ring. That's the back in the day,
know,
right?
but I can't get on them now.
Well, I know how, but I have to hold on to somebody.
Right? But the politics of the music industry just didn't work for me.
Okay.
And I thought it was best that at the time I had a brand new condo, brand new car, and me and office politics did not mix. So I said I better get some stability.
Right.
And New York City Department of Corrections they continuously called me, and I was like, I kept pushing it off. So the investigator calls me and she goes, do you want the job or not? And I'm like, all right.
Right, but you're making it seem, the way you're telling this story, because I have to always keep in mind from my audience perspective, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong since y'all are here in the studio audience, right? But those that are also watching, this woman is making it seem so, modest and relaxed. I was working with Sony and then just went to Epic, and then all of a sudden I got a call from the New York Department of Corrections, and they were like, do you want the job or not? She's just very, very vague.
Sorry.
And chill and relaxed about it. We're like, Sony called you, Epic called you. I mean, like everybody else is like, this is like life-changing moments. So now you leave the music industry.
I never really left the music industry. I took the job because, like I said, I had taken a test and getting out of high school, and they kept calling me. So I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. It gives me stability. I'll have a pension,
That's good.
benefits, which is important.
Yes.
So I went to New York City Department of Corrections. I worked downtown Manhattan for 15 years as an officer. Then I got married, had children, had my 3 children. And then I had the brilliant idea to take the test to become a captain.
Okay.
Right.
Because I saw that. I said, you were not just a regular employee. You were the captain of the division. So this is, amazing.
And then I went to I really went to work.
Yes.
Because I got transferred to Rikers as new captain.
These are big deals. These are things that's in movies.
Well,
this is not just like regular old stuff. That's why I keep saying that. Because your whole life has been a significant journey.
Yes.
And you've had some major highs along the way that could have been the thing that catapulted you to your destiny anyway. So it's like you had so many different choices.
Yeah.
And this is just an amazing story. So now you're on Rikers Island.
So Rikers Island was, it actually was rewarding.
Okay.
I knew that I made a difference. I ran the mental health observation unit in C95 AMKC. I had 340 male inmates, high classification, that were legally insane. My guys came out of mental health prisons, and You know, they've been on the streets and getting into trouble, recidive, Bellevue rejects, we call them.
Right.
But it was rewarding. I've never been assaulted, never a major incident. I knew that I made a difference.
You can tell.
And I always had an ear for everybody. It didn't matter the inmate, the officer. I always had an ear.
They would have slapped me day one. They were like, "You talk too much, girl." By the time but you literally have this whole calming.
It came from my grandmother.
Yeah,
because my grandmother
really
exposed us. That's right. She exposed us to everything.
Wow.
She was like, "You never know. That could be you tomorrow."
That's right.
So you don't turn your nose up to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know if you know when you were in the restroom earlier, but there was someone sitting there, and he was clearly disheveled and he was distressed. And I said, even though he's not a client here at the Kim Jacobs show, I just still said, "Do you want a bottle of water?"
Something
because
simple.
Just something simple can change a person's
That's
life.
Right. That's right.
And I can tell that you being in the whole Department of Corrections as a mental health specialist type of person, as a captain, that you brought a lot of joy to so many people and probably helped them with their mental stability.
I believe I did.
I know you did. Because just sitting here next to you, even though I know you're wearing all this NASCAR gear and you're just, this queen of NASCAR world now, I can imagine you being tremendously
I was very
successful.
compassionate.
Yeah.
Very much so.
In any industry that you would be in, whether it be the music, whether because there's different people that I can just put me in the mind of. You marry different ones, different people that you could just immediately get your mojo on in any field.
Thank you.
So I love the versatility that you bring to the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a special woman we have here in the studio, ladies and gentlemen that are watching. I know some guys that watch this show too, so thank you too. So what else happened transitioning? Because we're gonna actually do another piece to the show, and I want to make sure that I save that piece for then. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you left the Department of Corrections.
I was blessed to be able to retire. I had sustained an on-the-job injury 3 months before I was due to retire.
Oh, okay.
But it was right down to the wire.
Okay.
And I was able to leave my service three months earlier. But I had worked in the music industry. I was going so fast, I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to a lot of people.
Oh.
Thank goodness I had a great rapport with my officers, so we stayed in contact, and we're still in contact to this day.
Good.
New York City Department of Corrections just honored me last year.
Oh.
Yeah, they gave me accommodations, and it was really nice.
I can imagine every industry honoring you because again, you have that soothing spirit and a beautiful personality.
Thank
You talked about being a mom of 3. Now I have in my notes you're a mom of 7. Tell us how that whole thing looks, because I mean that's a lot of blending. From 3 is stretching to 7.
So the three biological are from my previous marriage, and then I was blessed to be able to obtain guardianship over my nieces and my nephews. They're my younger siblings' children. So I have 3 little boys from my baby sister and my baby brother's daughter.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
And they just said, okay, we're gonna you're
I had to go to court and fight for them. I did not want them to end up in the system. And that was my motivation.
So you opened your home to 7 children total because you had your 3 and then opened it to family members' children.
And I have my dad at home, and my dad has Alzheimer's. So, I have a very busy household.
Well, see, I wrote a book called Extreme Balance Makeover. And if you don't have the book, I hope that you'll go to Amazon and get the book. But in there, I'm talking too about how people balance all different aspects of life. And you're literally example of a woman that I would be talking about. You're every woman, so it's like you're doing all of these things, and you're expected to do this and do that and excel at everything. That's perfectly. Right. It's a whole poem that I have in the beginning of the book.
I have to have. But please, I need it.
I'll make sure you get your copy of Extreme Balance Makeover, and we'll make sure you get that for sure. Cassandra, make sure because we'll make sure you have your copy of my book. Can you believe I don't have a book right here on me now? That can't even be edited. See, that's gonna be on the show. I don't have a book here with me, but I do have a gift for you though. Give me what I do have for her. Because I do believe that your journey has been one of faith. And so I have a book that's filled with quotes on how your faith has moved mountains. And one of the quotes says, "Faith is to believe what you do not see. The reward is the faith to see what you believe." And you are you're a crybaby too. I thought you weren't gonna cry.
about to mess up my makeup.
Never know what's going to happen on the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you.
But this is
Thank
yours.
you so much.
And it's filled with
Thank
all
you.
kinds of quotes
Thank
in there.
you.
Because I believe that your faith...
Oh, yeah. Everybody that knows me knows they were like...
That's why we have tissues for.
Thank you.
But what's making that make you cry?
The journey. The journey has been challenging. And when you say you believe in God, and sometimes it's just you and Him,
Yes.
The journey. You know, I look at the kids, and, you know, two of my children, the younger children, have special needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a dad that sometimes he knows who he knows who I am, and sometimes he doesn't.
That's right.
And still trying to juggle the 3 businesses and keep them successful.
Yes.
And then balancing my own, I'm a severe asthmatic.
Yes.
My injury at the job created a huge health issue, and I'm a severe asthmatic where I have spent weeks out of my home in the hospital and just trying to get myself well and
So that you can care for everyone
so I can
else.
take care of
So,
everybody else.
right.
So, yeah.
And I understand that. I have 5 children, and my 12-year-old son passed away.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm not going to get you going too much more.
Oh, yeah, because
But he passed away, so he's 12 forever, and he's not lost. He's in heaven, and we know where he lives. So I have 3 children with special needs, and they have cystic fibrosis, a lung disease. So I don't talk a lot about my background on the show in detail, but I can relate to some of the things that you're sharing. And I just believe that God equips us with everything we need to be able to handle our journey. He just doesn't put more on us than we can bear. And so for some reason, I'm like, Lord, I think this is plenty. Personally,
Right?
I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm talking to you like a regular person. I feel like, seriously, no, I'm just trying to make you laugh. But I feel like
I have those days. I'm like, well, I can't cry about it.
more than enough.
Right. Obviously, you know, I'm blessed enough to be able to carry it and sustain and work on through it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me about your backstory. And we're just going to simply transition to part 2 of the Kim Jacobs Show. And we're going to learn all about your NASCAR world, girl.
Yes,
okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate
Thank you.
All right. Well, there you go for that particular edition of the Kim Jacobs Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And you have to put all of your comments, things that you just learned from just hearing about her backstory, Melissa's backstory. What did you learn? What's something that you can just apply? Getting rid of the word can't, getting rid of the word try, having faith. It's a lot of things that I'm sure that you take away from today's episode with this beautiful guest that I've had. So go ahead and put your comments below. Subscribe, turn on your notifications, and thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Kim Jacobs Show. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just